Welcome to First Person. I'm Lisa Van Dusen, and today I'm talking with Scott Sagan, who's a professor at Stanford University in political science. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you, Lisa.
And the first question I wanted to ask you is really about how you got interested in what you do. And you do two things. You teach undergraduates and graduate students, and then you work in arms
Control, disarmament, nuclear weapons, nuclear power, and proliferation.
So what was the seed of your interest in those things, and was there any sort of childhood experience that was a moment or a contributing factor?
Childhood experience. Well, childhood experience was perhaps best. What would explain it for me would be that my grandfather was the Methodist Bishop of India, of northern India, during the partition period. So he told me stories about war and peace and the importance of doing action. CISAC is an interdisciplinary center of Stanford faculty and researchers. You should think about it as an independent think tank within the university that provides evidence through hearings, through published works, through government consulting to the government, and it's something that the faculty here do on a part-time basis. We all teach. We still do our own academic research, but we take some of it and apply it to big problems in the world today. And when it comes to nuclear weapons or nuclear arms control, or how can we spread nuclear power without it leading to further states getting nuclear weapons, those are huge issues, and this center is right in the middle of that. The Iranians have, in my judgment, used the non-proliferation treaties section that lets people who say they will not get nuclear weapons can acquire nuclear power. And that's part of the treaty, that's part of the deal in the treaty. They have developed nuclear power in a way deliberately designed, in my view, to give them the option of getting weapons. So they can claim they still have inspectors on the facilities that are enriching uranium, but they can claim that they're not getting nuclear weapons. In my judgment, the military option is a very unattractive option.
And you talk about that in your Nature piece in July.
Correct.
This year.
Mostly because no matter how large the military attack would be, not only would it be very costly in terms of spreading problems throughout the world, but it's very unlikely that we'd be able to do more than delay the Iranians for another year or two. At the same time, I think Iran getting nuclear weapons would be a disaster too. Well, we need leaders who are very open to fact-based decision-making and make decisions not based on faith, but by, as a good scholar would, trying to take the evidence, even if it's surprising and leads you to conclusions different than your initial assumptions, to follow the evidence to see where it leads you and make the best decisions according to what evidence is available. There'll still be uncertainty, but one needs to have that. At the undergraduate level and for graduate students, I think that you can actually help people understand how what they're learning can be useful later on in life by giving them some new skills. So for example, in our large International Security in a Changing World lecture class, we do a simulation of a non-proliferation treaty review conference where every student is given a role to play, be it the U.S. ambassador to the treaty, or the Pakistani observer team, or the Iranian delegation. And we often try to get people outside their own intellectual box.